Now in this capsule, we will recap the various progression models. Now, depending on your goal, not only as a person, what you're trying to accomplish with your general training program, but the goal of an exercise in a program and your neurotype, various progression model will be applicable. Now, I talked about it a bit in the individual capsules, so we will recap. For type 1, 1A, 1B, and even a type 2A, when talking about the big lift, the movement that have a neurological component, either in the selection of the exercise or the intensity range of training. So if a movement is trained for its neurological response, then the best approach for a type 1A, 1B, and 2A would be the RM system, also called ramping up to a good quality rep for a given number of reps selected. That would be the best approach. Now, if I'm training an exercise for the muscle dominance element, then the double progression model would be more applicable. This means that the double progression model is most applicable for a type 2A because it has an equal muscular and neurological component, and the type 2B who has more of a muscular component. So if an exercise is aimed mostly at the muscular dominance or component, then the double progression model is your best bet. Now, the percent-based approach will be most interesting for the advanced type 3. So the type 3 who has built a high level of confidence, high enough to be ready to start focusing on increasing his strength on a big basic lift. So the percent-based model will be the best approach for that advanced trainee when he wants to push his strength up. Now, the fixed weight progression model will be best used with the type 3, especially when he's more of a beginner or more intermediate, because it will allow him to increase the difficulty of the big lift without having to add weight, while also focusing on increasing or improving technique and control of a movement. Can also be used by the type 2B when they are using the higher level exercises like a squat, like a deadlift, like a bench press, like movements that have a higher neurological component. Now, there are also exercises where you don't need a progression model. Like if I'm doing biceps curl or like a minor assistance exercise, maybe just getting a pump is enough. You don't need to constantly increase the weight of the reps on some exercises. The more minor stuff, the stuff on the lower scale, lower portion of the neurological scale. So isolation work on machine, isolation work on cables, isolation works on free weight, or even some basic like multi-joint movement done on machines. Maybe you don't need a progression model. Maybe just doing like pump work going to muscle failure is enough to stimulate gains. But when talking about the neurological components or higher dominance in the neurological scale, then you want to have a progression model. The RM system is great for a type 1A, 1B, or even 2A. And if you're talking more about the muscle component, with bigger movement, then the double progression model is your best bet.